what you did. Without further ado, let's see what I have to say for myself this time.
Okay, let me copy the link.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus. My name's Drip Drop, and I'll be your host as always. We're not gonna waste time.
There we go.
Just days ago. And you know what they saw? An empty bridge. Nothing could be seen, nor could anything be heard. How do you feel about that? Just like I told you a really long time ago, if you involve animation companies into your investigation, well, my friends have told me you might just get an animation placed in your hands. Do you seriously think the bridge guy video is a real person? Well, of course, all of us were led to believe it was because that's what they gave us. We thought it was evidence. Now, I want you to think critically and keep an open mind.
So the bridge guy video is not even real?
The girls' bodies were found on Ron Logan's property. Ron Logan did an interview with the local news station prior to the bridge guy footage ever being released. He's wearing his blue jacket, an army hat, his blue
He looks
jeans,
exactly like it,
and a
that
big
bridge guy.
mustache. Shortly afterwards, they released the bridge
Hey
guy
Joe,
animation
hey
from World
Axe,
Took You.
hey Kenny.
You see, whether Ron Logan was involved or not, he was the original suspect, the original patsy, the fall guy, the alleged perpetrator. Law enforcement really thought he did it. So, similar to the magic bullet, they made a magical video. And you know at Disney, it's always magical. You know that's true. I've been to Disney World.
Disney.
If you have, let me know about your Disney World experience and what your favorite ride is. Once upon a time, I was on the Tower of Terror, and it was absolutely terrifying. And you know that's true.
There's definitely
Anyways,
reasonable doubt.
100%.
There's no way. And what sucks is how Richard Allen has been treated in jail. Like, he has full rights to sue once he gets out.
Because my friends told me. And I like to spread good information. Although I do want you to keep in mind, none of these thoughts or ideas are mine. These are all somebody else's idea.
Oh my god.
So, big shout out to them. Now back to this animation. Let's analyze it a little.
I would sue too, yeah, for real. Okay, I'm running inside for just a minute to get another hoodie because your girl's freezing. I'm wearing these thin-ass pajama pants. Maybe a blanket. Who knows what I'll get. It is so warm in here.
I'm making talking Tom fly.
Alright, you do that. Oh, mommy gets a blanket.
And I don't want him to be near.
Okay. I got a blanket. Guys, I'm freezing. This is not normal. I mean, I guess it is normal, but I'm so cold. Hold on, I'm gonna have you sit here. I'm trying to find my coat, but I can't find it anywhere. My computer's out there, so it can't. We can't dilly daddle, dilly daddle, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. I'm about to put just my dad's coat on over this.
Experiences, things that we cannot even imagine. What would you do next?
Okay.
Recall has discovered secrets and experienced unique events on a red trip, spanning down an
Okay, got my blanket. Got another jacket. Oh my god. Okay. Nobody stole my stuff. That's good to know. Okay. Guys, I'm such an idiot. We're really out here at like 40 degrees. Too damn cold to be outside. Okay, I'm good to go. We are good-ish. Good-ish. Back to listening to this. Just want to say, Crime Circus, Drip Drop, please don't copyright me. I'm watching your video for information. And you're most credible, in my opinion.
You just cannot believe this terrible thing that happened to the community and the families actually happened here on my property, in my backyard, in my backyard, in my backyard.
Anyways. Do you think the alleged perpetrator, aka the Patsy, the original suspect, would be wearing the exact same outfit from the local news right after the crime? That's crazy. No. What is much more
I don't know who that is,
the
homie.
animation company created
No
an
idea who that
animation on
is.
the bridge that looked somewhat similar to their alleged perpetrator. It's the exact same jacket, and you know that's true. Also, in an FBI document, they revealed that the perpetrator was over 5 foot 10 inches tall, and Ron Logan was over 6 feet tall. Richard Allen is the size of a leprechaun. He's 5 foot 4 inches tall.
I'm 5'2".
Don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Michael.
I absolutely love short people. You know I do. And once Richard Allen is released, dinner's on me. And he's welcome to Crime Circus for the slumber party anytime he wants.
Imagine that.
Definitely. He'll be treated a lot nicer here than they've treated him in prison. And my house parties aren't like Diddy's. No. Anyways, let's analyze this footage together.
His house parties are not like Diddy's.
Did you see that? Let's play that back again. Let's slow that down. Let's consider what we're actually witnessing here. I edit videos for a living. My own videos and interrogation videos too. Right here on Crime Circus and the Crime Circus Cult. Right here on the big channel. We just hit
Thank you, Michael.
80,000 subscribers. Thank you. Thank you to all the small people out there. I really appreciate you. And shout out to the big people too. My point is, this sticks out like a red flag. This doesn't fit in. In fact, this is a huge red flag. This reminds me of the old school animations.
See my pimple,
back in the
guys.
day with the drawings that Disney would produce. You know, Steamboat Willie status. Anyways, I could draw an animation on a stack of paper and flip it in between my fingers, and I'd see a similar artifact as that.
Well, at least you found me, Carolyn.
Pixar, Disney, NASA, they're not known for enhancing videos. There's no videos for them to enhance. They're known for creating animations. Point blank, period. But that's a topic for another video on another day. There was a courtroom full of people, and every single witness in the courtroom that viewed the video that was played in court that was 43
You guys want to see what he
long,
looks like?
none of them could see a man in that video. And you know they were looking very
He looks
hard,
creepy,
as
but
hard
he
as
does
they
a
could,
good
so
job,
them
like,
even
at
with
helping
thick glasses.
people.
There was no bridge guy in the video. And you know, even if you zoomed in on that video, you're not going to see a bridge guy. When they say they enhanced this video, they really enhanced it.
They edited it.
They created it. That's what my friends are telling me. That's my friend's idea, someone else's fantasy. I'm telling you, it's not mine. Stick with me on this. It's been revealed that the GPS coordinates are from about 10 minutes away at the Memorial Park, not from the bridge. Yeah, that's alarming. You know where my GPS says I am? Right here at Crime Circus. My GPS does not put me 10 minutes away. Keep in mind, we're not dealing with cell tower pings. We're dealing with GPS, which is super accurate.
True. He is right.
GPS Insight yields an accuracy of 99.88%.
I have not seen anybody successfully argue the accuracy of actual GPS data, coordinates. My friends have told me that whoever created this video mistakenly used the wrong GPS coordinates of the park instead of the bridge. Whoops. Red flag. Richard Allen's innocent, sent him home. How do you feel about the judge in this case? Wait, don't answer that. We'll get to that. I mean, you can leave a comment down below right now. But either way, we're gonna get
I'm wearing a Harley jacket.
Let's get back to this video. We've all heard the famous audio.
Oh, hey,
Down the
Kay.
hill. Not a single witness in the courtroom could hear that audio on this video. How do you feel about that? Did they present us an animated video and a FAKE audio clip? I don't know.
Yeah, Michael, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about in a crime scene, like your GPS coordinates. Yeah, that does look really sus.
For anyone who has developed a brain or spinal tumor after using birth control shots, this is...
Am I inside of the Delphi courtroom? Well, if anybody recognizes me, say hello to me while I'm there. You might even call it a test run for my deep dive undercover for Sigma Chi. Anyways, moving right along. Nobody could see the man in the video, and nobody heard the audio guys down the hill in the video clip that was played. This trial's been going on for about a week now, and nobody has seen any evidence that implicates Richard Allen. And you want to talk about the confessions? I promise, if any one of you watching this video right now were subject to the conditions and the cruel and unusual punishments
It's true.
that Richard Allen has been subjected to, you would confess to anything and everything that they wanted you to. The Kennedy assassination, you being the real Bigfoot, so on and so forth, etc. There's really no limits to what you
Good
can do in that
tempo. Glad you
situation.
found me.
As you're
Yeah,
experiencing
YouTube's been
psychosis.
shadow banning me,
Let's look at
Kenneth.
the definition of psychosis, because that's what Richard Allen was experiencing.
Psychosis, a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia, characterized by defective or lost contact with reality, often with hallucinations or delusions.
How do you feel about hallucinations and more? Have you ever had them? If so, let me know. Don't worry, Crime Circus is a safe place. Nobody will know, just leave a comment down below. I want to remind you that this is an emergency broadcast. There's no script, there's no teleprompter, there's no Crime Circus team. This is me just telling you important, relevant information that my friends have told me. We're all the way into this video.
That
We
doesn't make
haven't even talked about
sense.
the cult of Odin. The defense attorney. But the FBI that was investigating this case wrote a 12-page Odin report. And after Richard Allen was arrested, one of the previous lead detectives that was on this case wrote a letter saying, basically, I think you've got the wrong guy. There were other suspects in this case, and they have ties to the cult of Odin. They're current members.
Thank
right
you,
now.
Lars.
I've looked up their Facebooks,
You're
I've
so
taken
sweet.
screenshots. I've even found one of their TikToks. My point is, they like to do sacrifices
Thank you,
in
Axe.
their religion. It's
Yes.
disturbing, it's sick. We're not going to talk about all those gory details right now, but one of the prime suspects, people have told me his name is Brad, was posting on his Facebook page really creepy drawings, paintings, pictures, so on and so forth, etc. That may be very well related to this case. one of the paintings looked like one of the victims. How do you feel about that? And he even does homemade knives for a living. Oh yeah, and he owns a .40 caliber gun as well. That's what you're gonna get here at Crime Circus. The raw truth. I personally don't care one way or the other if Richard Allen's guilty or innocent.
What's up,
I
Hammer
just
Nails? How are
investigate
you?
these cases and I look at the evidence. There's no evidence against Richard Allen. None. Every single witness from the trail, well, not a single one of them was in the courtroom and pointed at Richard Allen. And you know the prosecution loves to have a witness on the stand.
Yeah.
Say, please point at the perpetrator if you see them in this room and describe what they're wearing. And then the prosecution makes the statement, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. That hasn't happened in this case. Richard Allen was a CVS pharmacy technician, a good family man, somebody without a criminal record, somebody that loved his job, loved his wife, loved everything about Delphi. He was a lover, not a K-I-L-L-E-R.
What's up, Jordan?
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, don't shoot the messenger. Richard Allen didn't do it. You want to talk about the 61 false confessions? Okay, let's. Oh, wait, we already did. Those are false confessions, just like Brendan Dassey. You break somebody's mind, they'll tell you anything you want to know. And what do you know? They always end up recanting their confession later on because they didn't do it. Remember, we don't watch news headlines here at Crime
Yeah.
Circus. We investigate the actual case files.
Yeah, Hammer Nails. It's a trial happening right now.
Just because you've seen
Delphi,
something in a
in
YouTube
Delphi,
video,
Indiana.
online,
2 girls are
or some other
killed.
crime show on
The guy's on
television,
trial right
doesn't make it
now,
true.
but
A lot
everyone
of
thinks
times they
he's
will knowingly
innocent,
lie to you.
including
That's
me.
why I stopped watching those shows a long time ago. Because I would hear things, and then I would do my own research, and I would realize all of their information was wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. So, I do deep dives inside of the case files, which is why I always have the interrogation videos. And you know I have the highest quality, best interrogation videos on all of YouTube. I do.
He does.
I'm not bragging, I'm just letting you know. I've been told many times I am the GOAT. And I'm not going to dispute that, and nobody else has disputed that either. So, moving right along.
He's humble. Yeah, they happened years and years ago, but the killer is just now facing trial. Richard Allen.
Do you believe in cell phone forensics? Well, let me tell you something. Richard Allen's cell phone proves his innocence. It shows that he was not at the crime scene the time the girls were. He wasn't even at the bridge the time the girls were. He had already left. Yeah, and neither him nor his car was captured on the local video camera, showing that he did anything to these girls or that he was even in the area. He's innocent, whether you like it or not. He's innocent.
Yeah, the alleged killer. I think he's innocent. I don't think he did it.
And there's an old saying that somebody said, it's easier to deceive somebody than to convince somebody that they were deceived. So it is what it is. It's basically whatever information you consume first, that's what you end up believing usually. Maybe not you, but some of my viewers, some of the people in the world. I'm thankful because most of my viewers have a super high IQ. Seemingly more so than other channels. Anyways, you want to know who the perpetrators in this case are? It's all so obvious. It's in the court documents. And how about the first 2 months of interrogations and audio recordings deleted? If that's not sus to you, you shouldn't even be watching true crime videos. This case should have never even proceeded once that information was revealed. Cultivating members, we know what you
Sorry,
did
y'all.
to Abby and Libby. We know they were your sacrifice.
They were somebody's
We
sacrifice.
know about the F on the tree. We know everything. A moment of silence for the victims, please. Thank you. Moving right along. Like I told you in the beginning, this was just a miniature deep dive, a shallow dive, whatever you want to call it. If I were to do a proper, real deep dive on Richard Allen, well, it'll be about a 50-part series because it's really got nothing to do with Richard Allen. It's about Delphi, the Odins, and the actual KILLERs. There's some sick things going on in Delphi, Indiana. They have spent over $4 million prosecuting an innocent man that has free attorneys working for him. Yeah, free. They're not even getting paid. They are some sort of modern superheroes. They're not on the payroll.
They're working pro
And the
bono.
judge is sus to us. I know she's sus to you, but I can't even say too much about that because she'll probably put out a bench warrant for me if I say anything. She
Jordan.
terrifies me, and I think it's quite obvious. She is one of the, well, I think a lot of you watching this know what she is and what she's a part of. Anyways, I can't really approach that topic too much right now for safety reasons, but maybe in a future episode if I have the courage. I just don't have that right now. But I know injustices when I see them. All of Richard Allen's attorney's objections have been rejected, and all of the prosecution's little thingies have been sustained. There's no audio recording allowed, there's no video recording allowed, even though we get to see other trials in 4K. There's some super dirty and super secret things going on in Delphi, Indiana. There's people camping out outside of the Delphi courthouse hoping they're able to get a seat. Apparently the seating is very limited, and many members of the media have been banned. Banned, including mainstream journalists. The judge does not want the truth getting out about this case. And the truth is, she seems to be actively participating in the framing of an innocent man. This is scary. Super scary. Anyways, on that note, I just want you to leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feel about this. Let me know if I'm going down the right path or if I should just stop for my own family's safety. Sometimes I go way too deep into these investigations where I put myself and my family's lives in danger.
I'm good. How are you
No
guys?
reward, really. Unless you want to reward me a little inside the Cashapp at Cash Symbol Crime Circus. If not, that's okay. I'm still here and you'll probably come back because you made it this far. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. How about Brian Koberger? How about the Idaho 4 series link down below if that case catches your eye? Anyways, I want to remind you, Richard Allen's hair was not there. And on that note, until next time, remember to stay safe out there because you know it's a dangerous world.
We love Drip Drop over here. We're Drip Drop fanatics. He does a lot of what does this look like? My apartment. Another OnlyFans girl caught because she stabbed her boyfriend again.
First up, we've got shape video masks. You can use different shapes to create completely.
Yeah, Delphi is very interesting.
Can I see it?
We're not gonna watch interrogations right now. That's for me outside of YouTube. Anybody know of any true crime cases right now that's really good? shit. Bye, Sophie. A dude's live right now about the Delphi case, if you guys want to watch that. We won't. I don't know if he'll copyright me. I want to watch the verdict when Leilani Simon was found totally guilty.
Leilani Simon in Georgia. After more than 7 hours of deliberations over 2 days,
this is a reaction, by the way.
As to the verdict, it reads as follows.
This follows the copyright law, whatever law that is. It follows it, okay? It's not for fair use. And I'm not even showing it. You can only hear it. Kind of.
Felony murder. We find the defendant guilty. Count 4, concealing the death of another. We find the defendant guilty. Count 5, false report of a crime. We find the defendant guilty. Count 6, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 7, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 8, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 9.
Look at her face. Her gross face.
Guilty. Count 10, making a false statement.
The judge has some big hair. She got a big head. She's got big hair.
The defendant guilty. Count 12, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 13, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty.
Damn.
Count 14, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 15, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty.
That's a lot of false statements.
Making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 17, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. Count 18, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty. And count 19, making a false statement. We find the defendant guilty.
All right, so Simon guilty of all charges. And while she showed no emotion as the verdict was read, Simon actually broke down in tears afterwards. Jurors even lowered their heads to avoid looking at her as they were leaving the courtroom. Simon was convicted of killing her 20-month-old son, Quentin, in October of 2022. His remains, you remember, were found in a landfill after she dumped him in a dumpster. The judge said sentencing will take place at a later date and we'll hear aggravating and mitigating evidence.
Yeah, she didn't shed tears when she saw her son's skull fragments, but she cries when she learns she's guilty, right?
And since she's been convicted on so many counts of lying, I guess I could really call her, without fearing some sort of lawsuit, lying Leilani, because she's a liar. And the court has said so. I think she was crying because she got caught. And I think this is another case where if she had just told the truth, I was high and I didn't know what I was doing. He was crying and I lost it. Maybe it would have turned out better for her instead of lying about the fact that she didn't know what happened, trying to evade
That's fucked.
accountability. And then she ends up getting more than she would have if she simply told the truth and humanized herself and said, I know I was wrong, but I accidentally shook him or I threw him and he hit his head. Say something instead of lying about what you did.
Yeah, I could not agree more. We've seen this many, many times in cases like this where it's the lies of the defendant that get them into trouble. And
So
ends up
true.
picking up more time
People
or
give
trouble
themselves
than they would
away.
have if they would have just come forward and told the truth from the beginning. But I don't know. Anyway, let's take a listen.
It's true.
Chief Hadley with the Chatham County Police had this to say after the verdict. Let's take a listen.
Quentin Simon truly became Chatham County's child. During this weeks that our community was gripped by his disappearance, it is fitting today that 12 men and women from our community delivered the final measure of justice for little Quentin with their guilty verdict. We hope this brings some measure of peace and comfort to everyone who loved Quentin.
Fuck them all in that family, bro. They all suck.
I wanted to play that because it's important to remember that the victim here was a little 20-month-old boy, just the cutest little boy you ever want to see. But the most heinous part of this case for me was really the fact that she had been mistreating him. At least some of the testimony was, over time, people saw her mistreat him vis-a-vis her other kids because I guess she was angry at the father. That really bothered me.
It's really hard because at the end of the day, you know, children are taught to avoid stranger danger. You don't expect that the death and the violence is going to come from your own mother. He's so
true.
Small, he probably didn't even realize that his own mother was literally hating on him because she didn't like the man that helped her contribute to his DNA. So she took out all the wrath on him, and that was wrong. And I think in the sentencing, they're going to make sure that she gets the maximum allowed under the law because she was in a position where she should have been the one protecting him.
You know,
I do
remember
about,
you know, in the sentencing phase, there's going to be aggravating factors for sure. I think there might be some mitigating factors, Marie. I know it's difficult because, you know, this, you look at her and what she did to that little boy, it's hard to sort of come, to terms with that in your head. But she was young. She had 3 kids. She was only, I think, 20 years old or something. She had kids starting, I believe, at 17. She had a drug problem. She had all those things going on. Do you think those might be effective?
My hand is frozen, guys.
Factors in the sentencing phase?
I don't think so, because to be a part of a mitigation situation, you have to at least admit what you did was wrong. And she has not admitted it. Through her tears, she's still saying it wasn't me, it was somebody who kidnapped him. So that in and of itself is a problem. They're probably going to appeal. So having the appeal is going to stop her from taking accountability, which helps to mitigate.
That's what's up for me. I was watching this video about the guilty verdict for the Leilani Simon case. Well, the Quentin Simon case. She killed her 20-month-old baby. He wasn't even 2. We're gonna listen to Zap.
Hello guys, I know I have not done Delphi in such a long time.
It's about the Delphi case, that Richard Allen
Where
case.
the trial is going on right now. I wish I was there. They don't have it. They don't have cameras in the courthouse.
Me and Zav were originally gonna go. I so wish we would have went.
Well, they can have a notebook and a pen and stuff, but so I have been trying to,
because she's in Ohio
just
too.
Follow the people.
We had talked about road tripping
media
there.
that goes in, and then I think they let 20 people from the public, I think it is, so that people are like camping out.
No, she's not live right now.
To
No.
get in, so I've been following.
I'm just watching one of her
Lauren from Hidden True
uploads.
Crime. She's doing an amazing job covering it. So she's been getting in every day, camping out every day, going in, and just doing a great job explaining every detail.
I love
like
Zaf.
she explains,
She's awesome.
like, you know, the feeling in there.
She's a mod
what
here.
Richard's doing and what the
I'm a mod
family's
for her
doing,
too.
and just like different little subtle details. that
We
makes you feel
almost
like
went to
you're
this
in
trial.
the freaking courtroom with her, you know? So it's pretty cool. And she draws little diagrams and pictures and stuff. So it's definitely helpful since they're not allowing video cameras in there. So yeah, this is my first video I've done since the trial started on the Delphi, but this whole week I've been following all the updates of what's been going on. So like I said, I'm following Lauren from Hidden True Crime, and then also I'm following some of the local news channels. So maybe this weekend we'll do a live chatting about everything.
You should.
Because that case freaking, that case is so...
Kenneth isn't here anymore, is he?
Because
I knew he wouldn't be.
Happened. It is... Well, we'll talk about it this weekend. Hopefully I'll be able to do a live this weekend on it. But, oh my lord, it's like, it's not... Well, we'll save that for the live. Okay. So I want to read this motion. It was filed yesterday. Well, depending on, I don't know when this...
If so, you're going to take pictures of it when you get it.
By the time it gets up, it might be 2 days ago. But it's a motion to admit evidence of Odinism. So they weren't going to allow Odinism in, which... If you guys have been following this case and read the Frank's memorandum, you guys know how that was a big thing when the defense, they came out with that Frank's memorandum and basically like gave us, the public, all this information that we had no idea what was going on because they've been so secretive and like, I don't know what the word for it is, but like with this case, law enforcement, they have tight-lipped. That's a good term. But they've been so tight-lipped about this case.
Yeah, they definitely will be short.
So this Frank's memorandum comes out, and not only does it have
this
theory of Odinism, but also it lists like a lot of specifics about this case that we had no idea. So it was very informational. Not only, like I said, to this theory that it presented, but also the stuff from the investigation that up until then we had no idea because it was all sealed. So
hey bully, how are you?
They presented this theory, this Odinism theory, with a different group of guys as being the suspects, right? And the judge ruled that they weren't going to allow it. They weren't going to allow it in to the trial. Well, here's a motion to admit the evidence of Odinism. And also, it was the first time
you date black guys named Trump.
Because, like, when they first arrested him, I feel like everybody just kind of was like, oh, okay, guess they got the guy. But then this Frank's memorandum comes out last year, and it was the first time everybody started to doubt that it was Richard Allen. And then people just started, like, actually...
I'm 29.
Like, wait a minute. And I don't know.
Yes, it'll talk age in chat. Sorry.
I tell you that much. It created a lot of people having a lot of doubt. And plus, we didn't know all the details of the case. It was all sealed, but we, I guess, trusted that they had a good case against Richard. That's why they charged him. You know what I'm saying? We were thinking that. But then the Frank's memorandum, like,
thanks,
laid out some of the stuff.
I appreciate that.
Lack thereof
very sweet.
That the state has, and it's like, what the heck? It really made people, a lot of us, just like start to look at it different. Like, do they get the wrong guy? I still don't know. I mean, I do think he's involved. I do think he's a bridge guy, but dude, I don't think so far from what I'm hearing, how the trial's going, I am worried. So far, I don't think I would be able to be on the jury and convict him and say guilty. There's too much doubt. Too much freaking doubt.
Yeah,
because they
there really is.
And I blame the freaking state. I feel like they dropped the ball on this so bad. Dude, if they would have... They would have been able... I mean, he was there at the bridge that day, so if they would have been able to look into him further that day, or not that day, like, soon after the murders, they would have had so much more possible evidence against him. If it's him, you know what I'm saying?
Thank God, Boogie.
It would have been maybe stuff at his house. It would have been not 5-6 years old by the time they arrest him. You know what I'm saying? So then that evidence, now the evidence is gone. So if they would have been able to have looked at him when it was still fresh, then maybe they would have like a big piece of evidence, you know? Or maybe not, because maybe it's not him. So, but anyway, I want to just read this document. I haven't heard anything as far as how they ruled on it. I'm guessing she's probably not going to let it in, but I mean, they should. In all fairness, I'm not saying like I think that it was Odinism, because I don't know. I mean, I've looked into it and I was really convinced there for a while, and then I started like learning some other things, and I was just like, I don't know, no. But even if it isn't, that I'm still have doubts about Richard. But with that being said, I still do think they should be allowed to bring it into trial. That's his defense. He's allowed to bring up alternative people and suspects. Isn't that the whole point of a defense? They try to show maybe a different alternative thing besides their client being guilty. That's what their job is. So I don't understand. I think they should definitely allow it in and then let the jury decide.
So true.
But I just don't think that's fair that they're not allowing their defense in. Like, that's one of their alternative theories of what happened. And that makes, like, a stronger defense if it's like, oh, no, he didn't do it. But if you could bring up an alternative theory, it makes a better defense. But I just don't understand why they aren't allowed to bring it in legally. Like, why wouldn't they be allowed? It doesn't seem fair. Like I said, not that I'm, like, sold on it or anything, but they should be allowed to bring it in and then let the jury decide, right? It says, come now, the accused Richard Allen, by and through counsel, moves this court to admit certain evidence that this court thus far has prevented the defense from presenting to the jury. Pursuant to its September 4th, 2024 order, in support of said motion, the defense states as follows. On Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, CSI Brian Olehay testified concerning various aspects of the crime scene. During his testimony, CSI Olehay, I'm saying that right, Olehay, I don't know. No, it probably is Olehay, indicated that the sticks covering the girls was an attempt by the killer to conceal the girls' bodies. On September 18th, 2023, the defense filed its first Frank's memorandum, in which the defense laid out in painstaking detail the various pieces of evidence that provide support for the theory to the Odinism, Norse paganism.
Nah, Jordan actually does it more than once, Kenneth.
The defense provided the testimony
He does it throughout the stream, like a mod should.
To the court. Dr. Perlmutter
Just saying.
provided her CV and testimony at said hearing. Dr. Perlmutter's experience included, among other things, training the FBI and other local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies concerning how to identify a
Kenneth,
ritualistic
and you leave
crime
all the
scene,
time.
and literally writing the book of ritualistic crime scene identification used by local, state, and federal law enforcement. After reviewing the crime scene photographs and other reports and documentation, Dr. Perlmutter's testimony included her assessment that the sticks on the bodies, F-tree, and other aspects of the crime scene were textbook signs of a ritualistic murder related to Odinism, Norse paganism, including using sticks and blood on the tree to form runes and bind runes. Dr. Perlmutter's belief did not come out of left field, as law enforcement began investigating the Odinism angle as early as 2 days after the girls were found, and law enforcement continued investigating the Odin Norse paganism angle until the death of law enforcement officer Greg Ferenczi in 2021. The state of Indiana has provided its explanation of what the sticks represent: concealment of the bodies. And Richard Allen has a Sixth Amendment right to offer the jury his alternative theory as to the reasons the sticks are aligned and arranged in the manner in which they are arranged. Denial of this opportunity to present to the jury all alternative explanations would leave the jury with only one explanation, the explanation provided by the state of Indiana. Additionally, the sticks on the girls appear to be arranged in a pattern arrangement, or at minimum, using a person's own eyeballs. Common sense, logic, and reason could cause a reasonable person to believe that the sticks were formed into some pattern arrangement and weren't being used to conceal the bodies. Therefore, it could or would be confusing to a juror who might think that the arrangement of sticks was intentionally placed in a certain arrangement on the bodies, but then those jurors aren't being provided with any explanation for the way the sticks are placed on the bodies in a certain arrangement. Evidence of Norse paganism, Odinism, would therefore assist the trial of fact and alleviate confusion for jurors. Additionally, it has been learned at the August 1st, 2024 hearing that the blood found on the F-tree resulted in the state of Indiana retaining a blood spatter expert more than 7 years after the murders. Dr. Perlmutter's testimony would be offered in part to counter the testimony of the state's blood spatter expert. The accused has a Sixth Amendment right to counter their blood spatter expert's testimony.
Okay, you guys are going to my pocket for a second. I'll be right back. I just jerry-rigged my nasal spray.